The International Monetary Fund has approved of $118.2 million as emergency financial assistance for Mozambique to address large budgetary and external financing gaps arising from reconstruction needs after Cyclone Idai, which caused significant loss of life and infrastructure damage. The IMF says it will reallocate lower priority spending to emergency assistance to the poorest and for reconstruction, but the bulk of the country's needs will have to be covered by the international community, mostly in the form of grants to ensure debt sustainability. According to the fund, while the authorities cautiously proceed with normalization of monetary policy, they should remain vigilant after possible second-round effects on inflation of supply shock caused by the cyclone. And the digital moonshot calls for a holistic approach to accelerate the digital transformation of Africa to ensure that everyone possesses the foundation of a digital economy. The 7-member panel of the just concluded IMF World Bank Spring meetings, which has 2 Nigerians, discusses the tremendous aspirations for Africa as a digital economy.
The most important thing to look at is that believing in what we are about to do, for me, is more important than the results. Yeah, because that's the beginning of the success. When you believe in something, your approach to it is totally different, okay? Everything that comes on your way is not a problem, it's a challenge, and you overcome it, and you run around it, and you find a solution. That's the first thing. The second thing is what we are doing here today is to lay a foundation where we will unleash the imaginative and the latent energy of the African youth. We will release African youth from the constraints of the boxes that we found ourselves in literally right now, and we will change the dynamics of our beautiful continent.
They say half of winning is showing up. If Africa is going to win this digital economy, we need to show up. And what's showing up? Digital, somebody talked about digital ID. A situation where we have less than 50% on the internet is not showing up. And that's where we also need help from the government and from organizations like, the World Bank and IFC. So we need to do that. The other thing is awareness. We asked about what the government can do. I think we take it for granted that people know the importance of technology, but I don't think that's the case, because I attended a program in Nigeria, where we had a lot of government officials, and when we spoke, the results of our speaking, people were galvanized, and the government was like, okay, what can we do, what can we do? We have 54 distinct countries in Africa. I'm happy for programs like this. We have ministers here now, so we need to do more of this awareness so that people know how important this digital revolution is. It's an important one, because if you can't eat, then everybody talking about technology and digital, it becomes irrelevant to you. But just like Larry is saying, whether you like it or not, the world is moving towards that. Everything that we're talking about, be it medical science, be it water, all of that, the bedrock now is technology. Transportation, technology. So technology is the bedrock of all those things. In fact, solving many of those challenges will come through technology. I like to give the example of maternal health. And we have a lot of people, not just maternal, just people dying because of something as simple as medical history. So somebody is sick, you get into a hospital, there's no medical history. Now imagine you had a card, like an ATM card, that you carry around with you. You're ill or anything, you enter any hospital, immediately it's put in, your medical history comes up. You're saved. So technology is the bedrock. So I empathize with the person asking that question, but the truth is we're going to solve those problems, those challenges through technology. So we can't ignore technology. Right. Otherwise we become extinct.
Plans that are put together are able, and I've seen them come to life. Like C-squared, when it began and the ideas, when it was being cooked, you'd think, well, this is ambitious, this is big, but the kind of transformation that is happening is real. So these plans that we're seeing being put down can actually be implemented, they can work. I've been waiting to see Project Loon take off, at least in Kenya. It's something that we've been pushing. That means that you'll have 4G coverage 100% in the whole country. That means everyone will be receiving broadband wherever they are. They don't need to move to the urban centers. They can work from there. They can receive their digital payments. They can even receive their education, whatever it is, in those places. Right. the key thing is that some of these ideas that are presented sometimes seem that like they are pie in the sky, but for me, I've actually seen them come to life, and they are real, and they will transform.
Mobile data has increased 20-fold in the last 5 years, establishing the continent as a leader in mobile money. And as we've heard from our panelists, Africa has tremendous aspirations for the digital economy and the benefits it can bring its citizens. But as we stand today, only a fraction of Africa's population has affordable access to broadband, or, as you rightly put, access to the world's biggest library. And that is what the Digital Moonshot is all about. It calls for a holistic approach to accelerating the digital transformation of Africa, working to ensure that everyone on the continent possesses the foundations of a digital economy. So, affordable, reliable connectivity. And what I heard today was, first, fiberizing Africa, making the existing dark fiber lit first, creating shared infrastructure, and finding ways to make affordable devices for all citizens. On digital financial access, we heard that 41% only of adults in Africa have access to financial bank accounts. Emphasise is a start, and it provides us opportunities, but we need agile regulation that will lean in and allow more people access to digital financial services. Digital identification, the third pillar, will give us access to services from governments that are not available today and available in transparent fashions.
And South Africa's government has brought forward the bailout of state power firm Eskom after giving 5 billion rand to the struggling utility earlier this month to avert a default, adding that more cash could be needed soon. In February, the government promised Eskom a 23 billion rand a year bailout over the next 3 years, but was expected to start giving the cash-strapped utility the first tranche of funds between August and October this year. However, in March, Eskom's inability to raise funds prompted Finance Minister Tito Mboweni to authorize the cash transfer on April the 2nd. Meanwhile, energy experts say the bailout is insufficient to make Eskom financially sustainable in the long term. And Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have granted Sudan $3 billion in support. The grant includes a $500 million deposit into Sudan's central bank, while the rest will be in the form of food, medicine, and petroleum products. And finally, Angola's state oil company, Sonangol, plans to divest 52 joint ventures, reduce staff, and focus on its core business as part of an ongoing reorganization and package of reforms designed to lure back investors. Oil accounts for 95% of exports and around 70% of government revenues in Africa's second largest producer. Production has been in steep decline due to maturing fields and lack of investments, which Sonangol CEO also attributed to lack of efficiency in decision-making by the previous administration. Angola's oil production fell to 1.478 million barrels per day in 2018 from 1.632 million barrels in 2017. Sonangol has carried out analyses on oil blocks with Total and ENI and has held talks and signed initial agreements with ExxonMobil. Most recently, it met with Shell to try to lure it back to Angola. And that's a wrap on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimezie Obi. Welcome.